my capacity as senior moderator, I hereby declare the results of the World Extreme Cagefighting 51 event predictions. 6 forum patrons took part and no tie-break was needed. With a score of 10 correct predictions, it gives me great pleasure to announce the winner of the signature contest, who may wear the ciggy as long and as often as he likes. I announce and present to you the Matt Hughes Forum World Extreme Cagefighting 51 Predictions Champion, Spirit Walker. You'll have to forgive me if I'm a little bit sort of staccato, so to speak, but I've just had a little bit of an experience. So it's been 8 days, well, tomorrow will be the 8th, this is the full week today, that Bonnie and Pettis have had chicks. They are growing rapidly and they are beginning to sprout sort of feathers on their wings. They have yet to open their eyes, which should happen around about 8 days, so we're looking at tomorrow, which is when one presumes the full-time brooding of these chicks can sort of come to a more or less an end. They're getting very big, too big for one parent to cover them all, because she's got all 4 of them. And all 4 of them are developing quite nicely, so we don't have a runt. But we don't have eyes yet. Anyway, this morning I decided the time had come to actually touch one. So I plucked one from the nest. The good news is they're beginning to hold temperature. They do go cold after a while. I didn't leave this one out of the cold. The reason I know this is because later on in the day, the nest box fell off the side of the cage, which was not ideal. I only noticed it. It may have happened when I was round at my parents' for dinner, because I only noticed it when I saw one of the chicks on the floor of the cage, and I thought, oh, that's not good. Picked him up. He was slightly colder than he should have been, let's put it that way. So I stuffed them all back in the nest, put the nest back up. It took a while to get it, because I've got to angle it so that the whole of the nest is actually up. Otherwise they're likely to, if the nest is down the other way, well, little babies tip out. You might be able to hear them in the background anyway. But once that was settled, the parents went back into brooding and feeding. So I know no permanent damage has been done, but it was a bit of a hair-raising experience, and it happened possibly about 20 minutes ago. So I'm a little bit of a quivering mess. But anyway, yesterday, in family news, my nan moved to Yorkshire. This completes a 13-year process that started way back in the fall of 1997. My father had an inkling that the company he was working for was going to collapse, and he took steps, preemptive steps, to get another job. And he got another job, and the job ended up in Yorkshire. And in about April 1998, he moved to Yorkshire to work during the week in Bradford and to commute back at the weekends. Now, because of the way that my parents have children, and because of the education system at the time, they decided that they would hold out for 2 years for us all to reach a break in the education system where we could move educational facilities easily without disturbing our education, so to speak. So for those 2 years he was commuting. Now in 1999 my grandmother on my father's side decided that she would like to move up with her son. She moved to Harrogate, which is here, which is where the family planned to move in 2000, when the educational gap sort of came round the window, so to speak. she might have moved a little bit early because she found herself a bit isolated up here, with the fact that my father's actually working in Bradford. He doesn't actually work in Harrogate. So she was a little bit out of his way to visit, and of course he was never there at the weekends because he used to come home to us. In 2000 we moved up here, my family and I. Now I moved on to Bradford University for 3 years and then London for a further 2 years. So my actual time of really living here was 2005. And in 2006 I moved out into my own little flat here. Now last year, about a year and a half ago maybe, so 2008ish, my grandmother, who was on my mother's side, she decided she wanted to move up here as well. So she found a little flat, and she came up to see it, and as she was coming out she bumped into a guy who was coming out of the next door flat. This guy had just renovated this flat for his mother, who had spent one night in the flat before unfortunately dying, and he'd just come back from the hospital. So he and my nan started talking, and he decided that if she wanted the flat he would keep it for her for when she moved up. Now he kept his word for a very long time. He kept up that house unoccupied and well, it's a room really, a small little flatlet inside sort of block, for the best part of 2 years, because of course with the crisis that hit, the recession that hit, my nan's house didn't immediately sell. Finally it sold, and she moved up to join us this week. The house actually passes into her sort of hands this Friday, I believe. So she's staying at my parents' whilst we sort of move stuff around into her flat and get it ready for her. There is just one other thing that I want to say. It is true that this week the forum has been down for a whole day. Frighteningly is the fact that not many of our regulars noticed, because I think they are becoming less and less regular. It's becoming a bit of a Marie Celeste, and it's been like that for some while, and it is getting worse and worse and worse. If you're watching this and you're a member of the forum, we need your help, I think, to make sure that this forum keeps the quality, that special quality that it's always had, to make sure that it's still a happening and lively place. You know, people's input into the forum is really, really important and well appreciated, but we are struggling, I think, with numbers and such at the moment. Maybe it will pick up with Max's fight coming along very shortly. I do hope so, because it's become very, very empty, and I don't know what's happened to all our regulars. You know, I tried to bring a few back, and I succeeded for about a week, and then it tailed off again. So if there's suggestions that you have for the moderating team to make this place back to what it was, if you think it's lost something, I don't know, or if there's changes that you want to be made so that, you know, you feel that you can participate more, please let us know as soon as possible, because it's I think it's reached an all-time low, to be totally honest. So I hope that changes, and I hope you know, you people who are listening will support us on this, really.